Johanan B.Zakkai, also known as Johanan B.Zakkai, or in short, was one of the tannaim, an important Jewish sage in the era of the Second Temple, and a primary contributor to the core text of Rabbinical Judaism, the Mishnah. His name is often preceded by the honorific title, Rabban. He is widely regarded as one of the most important Jewish figures of his time. His tomb is located in Tiberias, within the Maimonides burial compound. The Talmud reports that, in the mid-1st century, he was particularly active in opposing the Sadducees' interpretations of Jewish law, and produced counter-arguments to the Sadducees' objection to the Pharisees. So dedicated was he to opposing the Sadducee view of Jewish law, that he prevented the Jewish high priest, who was a Sadducee, from following the Sadducee interpretation of the red heifer ritual. His home, at this time, was in Arov, a village in the Galilee, where he spent 18 years. However, although living among them, he found the attitude of Galileans to be objectionable, allegedly exclaiming that they hated the Torah and would therefore fall into the hands of robbers. During the siege of Jerusalem in the Great Jewish Revolt, he argued in favor of peace, according to the Talmud. When he found the anger of the besieged populace to be intolerable, he arranged a secret escape from the city inside a coffin, so that he could negotiate with Vespasian. Yohanan correctly predicted that Vespasian would become emperor, and that the temple would soon be destroyed. In return, Vespasian granted Yohanan 3 wishes: the salvation of Yavneh and its sages, the descendants of Rabban Gamliel, who was of the Davidic dynasty, and a physician to treat Rabbi Zadok, who had fasted for 40 years to stave off the destruction of Jerusalem. Upon the destruction of Jerusalem, Johanan converted his school at Yavneh into the Jewish religious center, insisting that certain privileges, given by Jewish law uniquely to Jerusalem, should be transferred to Yavneh. His school functioned as a re-establishment of the Sanhedrin, so that Judaism could decide how to deal with the loss of the sacrificial altars of the temple in Jerusalem, and other pertinent questions. Referring to a passage in the book of Hosea, "I desired mercy, and not sacrifice," he helped persuade the council to replace animal sacrifice with prayer, a practice that continues in today's worship services. Eventually, Rabbinic Judaism emerged from the council's conclusions. In his last years he taught at Bor Hale, a location near Yavneh. His students were present at his deathbed, and were requested by him, in his penultimate words, according to the Talmudic record, to reduce the risk of ritual contamination imparted by a corpse. Put the vessels out of the house, that they may not become unclean. More enigmatic were the Talmud's record of his last words, which seem to relate to Jewish messianism. "Prepare a throne for Hezekiah, the king of Judah, who is coming." His students returned to Yavneh upon his death, and he was buried in the city of Tiberias. 11 centuries later, Maimonides was buried nearby. In his role as leader of the Jewish council, he was succeeded by Gamliel II. Teachings. Jewish tradition records Johanan B.Zakkai as being extremely dedicated to religious study, claiming that no one ever found him engaged in anything but study. He is considered to be someone who passed on the teachings of his predecessors. On the other hand, numerous homiletic and exegetical sayings are attributed to him, and he is known for establishing a number of edicts in the post-destruction era. After the destruction of Jerusalem, the shofar shall be blown in Beit Din when Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbat. After the destruction of Jerusalem, the 4 species shall be taken for the entire Sukkot. After the destruction of Jerusalem, the Chadash shall be prohibited for the entire day of waving. after the destruction of Jerusalem. Witnesses for the new moon shall be accepted all day, after the destruction of Jerusalem. Witnesses for the new moon shall only go to the place of assembly and not follow the prince. Kohanim may not go up to bless the people while wearing footwear, after the destruction of Jerusalem. Witnesses for the new moon may not violate the Shabbat except for the months of Nisan and Tishrei, after the destruction of Jerusalem. Converts no longer separate monies for the conversion sacrifice. The identity of the ninth edict is disputed. After the destruction of Jerusalem, the second tithe was permitted to be exchanged for money within a day's journey of Jerusalem. After the destruction of Jerusalem, the red string associated with the chatters of Yom Kippur was sent with the Ishiti to Azazel. Some of his comments were of an esoteric nature. On one occasion he advises that mankind should seek to understand the infinity of God by imagining the heavens being extended to unthinkable distances. He argued that Job's piety was not based on the love of God, but on the fear of him. He was challenged to resolve several biblical curiosities by a Roman commander who was familiar with the Torah, but whose name has been lost in confusion. Among the issues were the fact that the numbers in the book of Numbers didn't add up to the totals, and the reasoning behind the ritual of the red heifer. On this latter question, the answer he gave didn't satisfy his own students, so he decreed that the ritual was one that shouldn't be questioned. He articulated the principle that you shouldn't take credit for your learning, because this was the purpose of your creation. He is also quoted as saying, "If you're holding a sapling in your hand and someone tells you, 'Come quickly, the Messiah is here,' first finish planting the tree and then go to greet the Messiah."